So, breadcrumbing in a relationship is defined as when someone shows a little interest in a person via texts, phone calls, or social media interactions, but lacks complete follow through to retain or strengthen a true connection. Oftentimes, breadcrumbing is just enough to keep the other person hooked, so they're hesitant to break off the connection fully because there is the illusion of hope that it might deepen and move to the next level in the future. When we fall for breadcrumbing, it might be because we have deep feelings for someone and we don't really want to let go. The breadcrumbs are enough to convince us that maybe it's worth hanging on just to see where things go. Other times, it's a dysfunction within us that might stem from childhood issues or from previous relationship trauma. In my case, I grew up with an emotionally unavailable father. He never said I love you, he never told me I was beautiful or smart, and he just didn't know how to build anybody up in any positive ways. He worked hard and he kept his head down and he watched TV. That was really all he knew how to be. So as a child, I had to convince myself that my father loved me, even though he rarely did anything to demonstrate that he did in fact love me. I had to search for meaning in that one time that he mumbled that I was already beautiful without the makeup I'd been playing with that day. I had to search for meaning and depth in the Christmas and birthday presents he bought for me. I had to work at believing that he loved me. So I had to gather up all the little bits of breadcrumbs he left and try to assemble that into a morsel of fatherly love big enough to hold in my hands. When you grow up that way, with one of the most important and influential figures in your life, it does leave a mark on your soul. It leaves you looking for those signs and signals in other people. You look for the breadcrumbs of meaning in every other relationship, and when you find a breadcrumb or two, you might even make it more meaningful than you otherwise would if you'd had healthy examples of true love and true affection. You assign value to that breadcrumb because it's what you're used to. You're used to valuing a breadcrumb because a breadcrumb is all you had. In some cases, even if someone were to approach you with an entire loaf, eschewing breadcrumbs entirely, you wouldn't even know what to do with all that meaning and depth because it's so unlike what you're used to. You can't even believe it could be true. They must be delusional to feel so much and offer so much to you, right? I think that in some cases it's normal to start out a relationship with some gentle breadcrumbing. The vast majority of human beings don't know how or may not be willing to lay their entire heart on the line right at the start. So most of us start out slowly and cautiously as we get to know someone and get to understand whether or not we might be compatible together. In those early phases, it's normal and maybe even a little healthy to keep your cards a little closer to your chest. But as you progress and as you move forward to something else deeper and hopefully more long-lasting, it becomes important to decide to lay your cards on the table for each other. It's okay to talk about what you might want and what feelings you think might be developing between you. Healthy communication is a really vital component of any human relationship. When you have reached the point of laying out the cards and determining what it is you both need from the relationship, that's when breadcrumbing should end. If it continues beyond that, and you still feel unfulfilled, and you still feel empty, and your person continues to ignore the needs you've already laid out for them, why would you continue? Don't keep following the breadcrumbs of someone who isn't truly invested in you when you could be having a whole cake with someone who can't stop investing in you. And you know what? Even if that person investing in you is just you for a time and not another external party, being alone and working on loving yourself is still far better than giving parts of yourself away to someone who makes you feel like you're not worth their time or their energy. So, bake yourself some bread, beloved. Bake yourself a cake and make it pretty. Pour some tea and enjoy your own company. Take care, beloveds.